Amani Kusha!
In 24 BC, Roman soldiers found something strange near Egypt's southern border. A statue of their own emperor was lying broken in the dirt, its head cut clean off. Someone had carried that head hundreds of miles south into enemy land and buried it under the steps of a temple. That meant anyone who walked up those steps would step right on the emperor's face. This wasn't random damage, it was a message, and the person who sent it was a fierce African queen that most people today have never even heard of. Her name was Amanirenas. To understand who this queen was, we need to go back further to a kingdom that Rome badly misjudged. This is in the land of Africa, ruled by the most fearless queen Amanirenas in the kingdom named the Kush Empire, a powerful African kingdom in the ancient land of Nubia. While much of the ancient world looked toward Rome and Egypt, Amanirenas was building a legacy that would be remembered for something greater than conquest. She became known as the queen who stood between her people and one of history's greatest empires. Like many rulers from the ancient world, the beginning of Amanirenas' life remains a mystery. She was born in the middle of 60 BC to 50 BC. She was born into the Meroitic royal family, also known as the Meroitic dynasty. As the record has it, she is the surviving child of the Kingdom of Kush, where future rulers were expected to understand far more than life inside a palace. They learned about the kingdom's customs, its laws, its beliefs, and the responsibility of protecting its people. Growing up in such an environment prepared Amanirenas for the difficult decisions that awaited her. The Kingdom of Kush was already a respected power long before she became queen. Located along the Nile in what is now Sudan, it was a land rich in gold, trade, and skilled craftsmen. Its capital, Meroe, was filled with busy markets, iron workshops, temples, and royal palaces. Merchants arrived from distant lands carrying goods to exchange, while farmers and craftsmen helped the kingdom prosper. But Kush was not known only for its wealth. It was also known for something unusual in the ancient world. Women could hold great political power. The title given to these royal women was Kandake, often written as Candace by Greek and Roman writers. A Kandake was more than a queen by marriage. She could govern the kingdom, make important political decisions, and even lead armies into battle when the nation was in danger. This tradition gave women a place in leadership that many other civilizations never allowed. As Amanirenas grew older, she became part of that proud tradition. She later married King Tiritikas, one of the rulers of Kush. Historical evidence also suggests they had a son named Prince Akinidad, who would later stand beside his mother during one of the greatest challenges the kingdom had ever faced. After the death of King Tiritikas, it was believed that his death might be the incident of power balance struggle between the Kush kingdom and the Roman Empire. Amanirenas became the leading ruler of Kush. The crown she inherited was more than a symbol of power. It carried the hopes of thousands of people who trusted their queen to protect them through both peaceful and difficult times. From everything history tells us, Amanirenas took that responsibility seriously. She ruled a kingdom that had grown strong through trade, hard work, and wise leadership. She understood that peace was one of the greatest gifts a ruler could give to the people. Farmers needed peaceful seasons to harvest their crops. Merchants needed safe roads to trade with neighboring lands. Families wanted to raise their children without living in fear of war. For Amanirenas, Being queen was never simply about sitting on a throne. It meant protecting every family that called Kush home. While she focused on the well-being of her kingdom, to the north, Rome continued expanding its influence, defeating one rival after another. Its armies had earned a reputation for discipline, experience, and relentless determination. Kingdoms that resisted often found themselves absorbed into the growing empire, just like the Kush kingdom after Emperor Augustus declared his interests to colonize the kingdom, upon which Queen Amanirenas declined by sending her envoy to deliver the message. And this was the moment that changed Amanirenas' future forever. In 30 BC, Rome conquered Egypt after the defeat of Cleopatra VII and Mark Antony. For the Romans, this was another great victory. For Amanirenas, it was the beginning of a new danger. The Kingdom of Kush no longer shared its northern border with an independent Egypt. Instead, it now stood beside the most powerful empire of its time. No one could say for certain what Rome intended to do next. Some believed the Romans would stop at Egypt. Others feared they would continue marching south. Amanirenas refused to leave her kingdom's future to chance, as she already got the idea of the kind of a man Emperor Augustus is. She strengthened her defenses, relied on trusted advisors, and paid close attention to every report arriving from the northern frontier. She understood that powerful empires often searched for new lands, new wealth, and new opportunities to expand.
If Rome ever looked toward Kush, her people would need more than hope. They would need leadership, and Amanirenas was determined to give them exactly that. She had no desire to build a vast empire or conquer distant kingdoms. Her greatest goal was far simpler: to protect the homeland that generations before her had built with courage, sacrifice, and hard work. Soon, that promise would be tested. The empire that had conquered Egypt was beginning to look farther south, and standing in its path was a queen who had already decided that freedom was worth fighting for. Queen Amanirenas had prepared her kingdom as well as she could, but she knew that no amount of preparation could stop war forever. As Rome tightened its grip on Egypt, disagreements along the southern border became more frequent. What had once been small disputes slowly grew into a conflict that neither side could ignore. Around 25 BC, war finally broke out. For Amanirenas, this was the moment that would define her reign. She could have stayed safely inside her palace and allowed her generals to fight for her, as many rulers did. Instead, she chose a different path. She would lead. That decision alone earned the respect of her people. Their queen was not asking them to face danger while she remained behind. She was willing to stand with them, sharing the same risks and the same hope of protecting their homeland. The Kushite army was made up of skilled archers, brave warriors, and experienced commanders who knew the land far better than any invading force. Amanirenas understood that defeating Rome would not depend on having a larger army. It would depend on courage, careful planning, and using every advantage her kingdom possessed. Rather than waiting for the Romans to strike first, Kush launched its own attack. The surprise worked.
Kushite forces crossed into Roman-controlled territory and captured several towns near the border. During these victories, they also seized statues of the Roman Emperor Augustus. One bronze head of Augustus, discovered centuries later beneath the steps of a temple in Medoe, is believed by many historians to have come from this campaign. Placing it beneath the temple entrance meant that everyone entering would step on the emperor's face, a powerful symbol that Kush would never bow to Roman rule. The news reached Rome quickly. The emperor could not ignore such a challenge. The governor of Roman Egypt, Gaius Petronius, gathered his soldiers and marched south to confront the Kushites. His army was well-trained, disciplined, and experienced after years of warfare. Rome expected another swift victory. But Amanirenas refused to make it easy. She knew the open desert, the narrow paths, and the river crossings better than the invading army. Her archers attacked with deadly accuracy, while her soldiers used their knowledge of the land to slow the Roman advance. Every battle tested the courage of both sides. Ancient writers also describe Amanirenas as having only one eye, which might have been caused by many battles she had with the Romans. Historians cannot say exactly when she lost it, but they agree that the injury never stopped her from leading. Whether on horseback or standing before her warriors, she remained the heart of Kush's resistance. Although the Romans succeeded in capturing the ancient city of Napata, they failed to crush the kingdom. Amanirenas understood that losing one city did not mean losing the war. As long as her people remained united, Kush still had the strength to fight. The conflict dragged on, becoming harder for both kingdoms. Roman soldiers struggled to operate far from Egypt, while Kush also paid a heavy price as trade slowed and families lived under the shadow of war. Eventually, both sides realized that endless fighting would benefit no one. Instead of continuing the war, they chose negotiation. According to the ancient historian Strabo, representatives of Queen Amanirenas met with Roman officials and eventually reached an agreement with Emperor Augustus. The peace treaty was a remarkable achievement. Rome agreed to withdraw from parts of the disputed territory, and Kush was allowed to remain an independent kingdom. Tribute that had been demanded was removed, and peace returned to the southern frontier. For Amanirenas, this was the victory that mattered most. She had not fought to conquer Rome, she had fought to protect her people, and she had succeeded. After the war, Amanirenas slowly disappeared from the historical record. Historians do not know the exact year of her death, but it was estimated to be within 15 BC to 10 BC, some years after the peace treaty. But the silence of history does not erase what she accomplished. She defended her kingdom at a time when many nations were falling under Roman control. She inspired her people by leading from the front instead of ruling from a safe distance. And she proved that courage, wise leadership, and determination could stand against even the greatest empire of the ancient world. Today, the pyramids of Meroe still rise from the Sudanese desert, and the story of Queen Amanirenas continues to remind us of a chapter in African history that deserves to be remembered. She was more than a queen. She was a protector, a warrior, and a leader who refused to surrender the freedom of her people. That is why more than 2,000 years later, Queen Amanirenas remains one of the greatest warrior queens in African history, an enduring symbol of courage whose legacy lives on long after the empires of her time have faded into history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the forgotten history. If you enjoyed discovering the stories of ancient civilizations, historical figures, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us as we continue uncovering the hidden chapters of human history. Until our next journey into the past, remember, every civilization has a story waiting to be told.